This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Oh. Pretty loud. Okay, meeting call to order at 10:08. All right, roll call. Trustee Machine?
Here. Mr. Sanders? Absent.
Pauline York?
Present. Jeremiah Jackson? Absent. Laura Ball?
Here.
Wendy Ball?
Here.
Timmy Rajan?
Here.
Okay, so any public comment?
I would just like to announce there's a good chance your battery will die during this meeting, and I have spare batteries over here.
Noted. All right, we don't want to have any public comment today, so we're just gonna we're just changing this around a little bit just to make an announcement that Pauline York is now going to take the place of Todd. Todd has resigned, so let's all welcome Pauline. Welcome, Pauline. Yay. Okay. Let's get that out of
Heartfelt.
Yeah. Welcome, Pauline.
Thank you for
Not sorting the golf course. Not messing with hole one.
we shall see.
Okay, so we'll start with the discussion items. So we have sports court update. There it goes.
You wanna use mine?
No, they got it.
Have we already had a battery die issue?
I turned it in the wrong way.
Oh, user error.
So, sports court update. So actually just today, I've been reviewing revised plans from our civil engineer, volunteer project manager, Mike Bruno. We're going back and forth. We'll be meeting this afternoon to go over these plans, and then we'll be resubmitting them to the county building department, probably today or tomorrow. And then they'll review them, get back to us, and then they'll be ready. If they're approved, we'll be ready to send them out for bid. County Building Department's already accepted the general design, drainage plans, and other structural details, plus an ADA compliant porta potty connected by an adjacent sidewalk. All exit gates for the courts with the fencing must be ADA accessible. Design drawings have been modified with just a few more details to be added before resubmitting, like I said, today or tomorrow. Ball's rolling pretty fast on that right now. Hopefully get it out to bid maybe next month. Maybe in July, I think it could happen.
And is the word on the street that they're gonna start with a smaller scope of the whole sport court project?
So
Is
right
that a
now,
thing?
the plans are one basketball court, which will also include two pickleball courts, and then one smaller pickleball court. But what we're gonna do is send it out to bid with the option of only doing one or the other, or the basketball court, because cost constraints may impede us to be able to do both courts. So depending on the bid and the available grant funds and whatnot, we'll see what we can do. But we're determined to get at least the basketball court with two pickleball courts, and then able
Yeah,
to
thank
expand in the future
Right.
when funding rises.
I guess that's exactly what I heard, so thank you.
Chris, you mentioned that we are resubmitting. That means the planning department have corrections or suggestions made this way. Is that why based on, okay?
Yeah, that's correct. It has been submitted. One version of plans was previously submitted, and they had comments and suggestions reviewed, and then we made some modifications, and now going back.
Oh, so it's supposed to be good then, that the planning department didn't mess with it. So, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so then we're gonna go on to fundraising. Oh, Wendy, go ahead. Just the only comment I have is when I went through everyone's, and we all went through everyone's opinions on the surveys, weren't there a lot of opinions of the sport court in a
Yes.
positive way? I think that may have been the number one thing that people brought up in the comments. So people like it. Okay, so fundraising.
We have fundraising under the discussion items, and we're going to be keeping it as a placeholder in the discussions as things arise, as projects arise that need to be addressed. And then also you'll notice in the action items, when we get there, we're going to be, for me, doing subcommittees on the different aspects of what we're looking at, and fundraising. You'll see fundraising there as well. But this is an opportunity for us to discuss if anyone's had any ideas on fundraising or has heard anything out in the community that people are looking to be doing for, like, say, sports court or the fireworks or replacement or anything like that. If you guys have heard anything out in the community, now would be a good time to bring that up. Also, Simi, I know you had brought up some fundraising ideas last time, and so I don't know if you're ready for this time to discuss anything, but it's going to be an ongoing discussion topic, so it's there.
Yeah. I also heard we potentially consider a parcel tax, but already board has to decide on that. Do we have any update on that one?
Yeah, I guess I'll let Chris, if you want to address what the district is working on. It's not necessarily for Parks and Rec, but just it is good any way that we can get the information out to the community. This is also a great avenue. So, Chris, if you could discuss that.
Yeah, the RID board just last week reviewed the first draft of a new ordinance that would potentially add $60 per annum per year for the special utilities improvement and operations parcel tax, which is currently at $80. Been at $80 since 1981. Every taxable parcel pays this tax every year, and right now the proposition is to increase that tax to a total of $140. $60 plus 80. That will go as a public hearing at the August board meeting. That's our plan. Which in between time, we're going to send out mailings to every property owner. There'll be a public notice in the paper. In this case, it's in a regional journal. And then a public hearing on that measure, and then if it's approved, it'll go to the voters on June 2nd, 2026, regular statewide election. It'll be part of the ballot, and it'll have to be approved by 2/3 majority of registered voters for it to pass. So that is ongoing right now.
And that is purely for the general fund for RID, not necessarily for.
This tax is a special tax just for the utilities of water, wastewater, and electricity. So capital improvement projects, operations to keep those utilities solvent.
Would that include potentially a park and rec director position?
No, not directly. That would not include that. However, it could alleviate some of the general funds and other ways that might free up some funds for Parks and Rec. But generally, no. This tax is specifically for utilities.
Yeah, in that kind of a scenario, I would say like a fundraising activity would be appropriate because we need a water treatment plant, and when we take that money to use it for park and rec, at least half of people will oppose it. So for parks and recs, we need to have like a larger vision, like in past comments and things. We have no shortage of ideas for projects, but money seems to be the biggest problem always. So we kind of, the idea I had was to kind of partner with all the nonprofits in Shelter Cove, including SCAR, Visit Lost Coast, Visit Shelter Cove, all the other 501c3 organizations. And in a combined way, we could raise raffle ticket. We could also partner with the businesses, and we could work out some legality of if they sell tickets, they get 10% markup or something like that for the efforts they put in. And the goal should be something like raise $1 million. Then we could work on the prioritized list of 5 top projects from the feedback. Start knocking them out one by one. So I'm just roughly guessing each project is something like 250,000, whether it's pump track or any of these ideas we had discussed. Sorry.
I was just mumbling community center, but yeah, I love your vision of a big number, and I would love to follow up on the raffle that you spoke about in the past meeting.
Yeah, other
Because why is
cities.
she small?
Yeah, other cities or other arts nonprofits have done this in the past. Like Santa Barbara has one, Rancho Palos Verdes has one. It's all highly regulated, so you have to register with the state. What's our goal? How much we're going to raise? What's the criteria? Where the raffle will take place? Everything has to be defined. And then our goal should be something like $1 million. So we have to sell 10,000 tickets, and then we work backwards on the number of tickets to be sold. And what if we don't get the money? Because we announce a deadline for the target, and we cannot extend the target. For example, summer of 2026, we have to sell all the tickets, and whether we sell any or not, we'll have to still do the raffle. And out of the 1 million, we may have to earmark probably 100,000 for the lot if RID doesn't have one. We should probably think about doing something like this 3 times or so, and then stop it. I mean, if we have enough money, which is doable. I guess I could give a little bit more solid proposal to the committee maybe next meeting, or I could present it to the RID board next meeting.
Yeah.
Some sort of a skeleton.
Okay. Yeah, I think it should probably come to the committee first, and just so we're all abreast of it. And then I'm also wondering, I guess my question is it really an RID thing, or would it be for the nonprofits? Would it be more for the nonprofits to take care of and address, and then maybe the district, where the district would come in is if we, when you guys have raised money for certain projects, then where the district would be able to come in might look like identifying properties that we could do those projects on, possibly. I'm just
I was
wondering.
curious too, why the nonprofit angle? Why? Because we definitely want to be raising money for the red projects. Are we able to do something like this?
I guess that's what, yeah, and I think there is some more legality questions that I would have as far as, I know cities and municipalities do this. I'm just wondering what the legality would be for a special district, if the rules would be different. I'm not 100% on that, but it just seems like there's a lot of funding opportunities that cities and municipalities are able to achieve that we don't get to do. So I just would like to make sure that we're able to do that as a district, and that's why I'm almost suggesting that maybe it's something that the nonprofits spearhead, and then come to the district for what we could provide, which would be potentially, and I'm saying potentially provide, maybe property could be identified for those projects, and then maybe deal with the hookups. I'm just.
So this is kind of a project, like let's say pump track. It's not just one nonprofit's purpose, right?
Right.
But it's for entire convenience for the entire community. So something like RID taking ownership, and because probably they're going to hold the land.
Yeah.
And initial cost of building we spend through the publicly raised funds, but then one of the nonprofits maybe take responsibility for maintaining it or something like that. We could have MOU.
Yeah.
And a classic example would be like a swimming pool. This will be a parks and recreation item. It's offered for entire community, not just JIPO, not just the Lost Coast. Though we could have a partnership with the Lost Coast to keep it and maintain it and run it and collect a fee, and they should have like a revenue sharing or a profit sharing with because it's public utility at the end of the day. It's parks and recreation, not like an individual or a for-profit or non-profit.
Yeah. And I am also curious about, as we go through the strategic plan, and as we begin to really identify what, like going through those lists of comments and what people want, identifying what could be possibly public and then what could be private. So I'm just kind of wondering, I think it sounds great as far as having you coming back with a proposal next month, and maybe clearing up some of the or bringing clarity to the information on whether or not it's something the district could do. And what was my
Well, and I think it just research and development needs to be done on a lot of this. And that's what we're going to kind of get down to with the subcommittees. Because then we'll kind of be assigned who does that research and development and then what things we want to present to the board.
Right, I like the kind of what Mike Bruno does as a citizen project manager, and he does all the research for free. We could assign community members like that. We use somebody want to spearhead operations. But yeah, it'll be like but from a public perspective, it'll be like a parks and recreation. So it's I guess maybe Chris, I could give some more details, and then probably we may have to start with the county council, probably. If something like this is a non-starter, then we don't want to waste our time much. And then if there is no way RID could potentially do this, we could probably take it up with this nonprofit. Like if SCARF want to do their own fundraising, sell raffles.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I know with the pump track, I'm hearing that SCARF is beginning that process of raising money. And so just making sure, I have concerns about the district taking on infrastructure that in the future is going to cost us a bunch of money to maintain if our partnerships fall through. You know, so just that, not to say that we shouldn't look at it or see, you know, if it's doable.
And based on the survey results, public wants things maintained before they want new things. And that was screaming at us in all these results.
Yes, and that's been,
Maintain what we
and that has been a consistently the feeling I from the public is that the district isn't maintaining their infrastructure and their facilities to a higher standard that it should be. And the clubhouse is
loud and clear.
yes, that's the other. As far there is a lot of support for the sports court, but there's also a lot of support for making sure that we are maintaining what we have. And so just
golf course.
yeah,
I mean,
at this point.
And maybe the beach access.
And the beach access, that was another.
That would have us like, who owns the beach access?
So for the Black Sands, apparently that's under the district's purview. Little Black Sands.
That's the one that RID has jurisdiction over.
Yes.
Okay.
And is probably potentially the most expensive one to upgrade.
Right, we recently.
But the one most necessary to upgrade as well.
Even though Big Black Sand is the BLM purview, we recently did collaborate with them on helping improve the access to that beach.
Oh, nice.
Okay, right, okay.
All the other accesses like the Lighthouse Beach access and the Coral Point, Abalone Point, Seal Rock, all of that is BLM. They're responsible for that.
Well, no.
Or not Coral Point?
That's ours.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's right. We have thank you for that clarification. So yeah, I mean, I'm on board with you coming back with more details.
Okay.
If you're up for it.
And I just say we can come back to this. We can
Yeah.
just talk about the next town hall meeting, go through these 2 quick action items, and then we'll do the formation of the subcommittees, which will address a lot of this too.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in it as well, so maybe we want to
Well-
tag team a few things.
So we'll get down to those subcommittees, and I have a feeling you guys are going to be working together.
Okay, so next town hall meeting. Oh, yeah, just.
I have one more thing under fundraising. I just wanted to announce that at the last board meeting, the board of directors approved the fee schedule for airplane parking and landing fees. So we had the mailboxes out a little while ago, but now the envelopes are back out there ready to collect fees, and we have collected some thus far. I don't have exact numbers. When I went and grabbed some the other day, there was $15 in there. So it'll be a small amount of fundraising going towards the airport, but there is a small income stream there.
Every cent counts.
We'll see if you look at the budget.
And the mailboxes at the golf course is working as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I should mention that as well. that, let's see, when I collected on that same day, the golf course fees at 150.
Wow,
Way
that's
more than paid
awesome.
for itself.
Sweet.
That's great. That's great. And it's because the course is really good right now. All right. Is there any public comment? No?
Or one public.
No online? Jack? Anything? Thank you. All right, so the next town hall meeting.
Yes, this
Wait,
is,
I have one last thing just to throw in on the fundraising in light of the golf course and the great progression that's going. Like as soon as we're getting those tee boxes, great, you know, we'll have some tournaments that people will pay green fees and be happy to come here and play golf. And so that's definitely on the radar as soon as it's awesome. And, you know, every person that comes up here to play golf will pay that greens fee and that'll be hundreds of dollars. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
or Wendy, I just called you.
Sorry.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
that was the fundraising thing.
yeah, so moving, we have the next town hall meeting, on this discussion, has a discussion. But basically, I think we looked at, next month would be the next quarter town
Mhm.
hall. Yeah, yeah, and I guess my concern, or not my concern, but I don't know how much we're gonna have that's different to present to the public yet. I'm kind of under looking at maybe we could either not postpone it, like, but move the town hall to the following month into August, because then that gives all the subcommittees another month or so to work on their individual tasks. Because otherwise, if we do it next month, we might not have all the information that, we'll still be gathering. And it just seems a little soon. How does that sound? So we'll,
It'll be August 20th.
yes.
Mhm.
Do we need to move that to an action? Do we vote to move it to an action?
Teja, would that be the evening?
Yes.
Mhm.
Or do we just say that's what it is? That's our recommendation. That's our recommendation. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, it's not on the action item like it, maybe it should.
Go ahead and just move it to action and then.
Okay, we'll move it to action and we'll take a formal vote. Perfect. Thank you for that advice. Okay,
Okay.
so now we're going to actions.
Mhm. Okay, so let's start with approving the minutes from May 22nd.
So everybody get a chance to look at those.
Anybody have any revisions, comments?
Good.
Everyone good?
I would make a motion to approve May 22nd, community center or Parks and Rec Committee minutes. Make that motion. Can we get a second?
I'll second your motion. Okay, roll call.
Stevie Rajan,
Aye.
Wendy Ball.
Aye.
Laura Ball,
Aye.
Jeremiah Jackson, absent. Holly York,
Aye.
Kristen Sanders, absent. Jessica Sheen.
Okay.
And then let's do the moving of the time. Or should we do that after? Do we want to do that at the end? The action, moving the date?
I was just gonna do the next one. Yeah, I got my letter in the mail.
Okay.
And then we can do that.
One
Oh, wait,
phase
so-
one, then you have to go to stage.
All right, since we already
Federal,
welcomed
DOJ.
Pauline. I don't know why this is not working. It was a lot of work.
Okay,
Okay, since we already welcomed Miss Pauline to the committee, I thought we would just go ahead and vote on the next town hall meeting, which is August 28th. I know, been Funky. August 28th. There we go. Ooh, she's working now. All right. And then that would be at
6 p.m.
6 p.m., right?
Does that sound good, Jessica? 6 p.m.
For the.
Town hall on August 28th.
Mhm.
Yes. Or just
Yeah.
roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Pauline York. Aye. Kristen Sanders. Absent. Jeremiah Jackson. Absent. Lenny Ball. Aye. Joshua Machine.
Aye.
Laura Ball.
Aye.
Amy Rajan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, so now we can get on to the fun stuff, which is the subcommittee.
One thing though, we
Oh,
do
yeah.
need to still, we still need to do this.
Oh, we still need to.
Make a
Formally.
recommendation or figure out how we're gonna address it.
Um,
No, the recommendation for the alternate committee.
oh, yes, that we did that. Yes.
Could we just put that out at the town hall, or do you need one immediately?
We don't need one immediately, but, so I think this would be a good time for us to have a discussion. It has an action, but we don't have any names to recommend at this moment.
Right. We were thinking that we would like someone from SCARF because that is lacking representation on the committee. So, but we're open to anybody.
Yeah.
But that's what we were kind of thinking.
Has anybody reached out to Scar?
I did reach out to Denise, and she said that they were currently just figuring out who would want to participate. And I didn't receive word back from her in time for this meeting. So I think we could still do, I could still reach out to Scarf, and see where they're at. We could also still put it out to the public. I do feel that because Scarf is really involved with a lot of recreation here in the Cove, and they've had a proven track record of accomplishing goals, that they should have a representation. And they're currently working on the pump track. And yeah. So what are your guys' thoughts? What is your thoughts?
I think it's a good idea to have Scar voice at the table,
Yeah.
because they do have a track record of being successful with fundraising and doing all the community events, which get a great attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've been part of the Cove for 2010, I think.
Really, yeah, quite a while.
Yeah.
I forget when they were formed.
Is when they became an official organization. So that's longevity.
Yes.
And also they are 501c3. Their volunteers are still our background, like Mark's wife, Nancy Mitchell, is like CPA and can help us with a lot of things too, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
I think Ransom would be a great candidate.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more young people get involved in our
I agree.
governing bodies. I think that's a great idea. Hopefully he'll get into it.
So we'll table this as an
So it'll be a
action.
couple weeks.
Yeah, he is out. He's being a world traveler right now. So maybe we'll table this as an action right now, but we're all on the same consensus as far as we should do outreach to SCARF first and see if they have somebody in their realm that would like to be a part of the committee, even as that alternate member. This is a 2-year committee. And so there's a lot that changes in all of our lives, and there's a good possibility that he could find himself sitting up here just as Pauline has, So yeah, okay.
All right. So we'll table that till the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So now the formation of subcommittees.
So that's my name's on here. So yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry, not
Yes,
related.
please.
I missed last meeting, sorry about that. And then I was wondering the survey results, if we have some sort of document.
We do. We do have.
Is it possible to share it with us online or email or something?
Yeah.
Thank you. And is it okay to share that with public? Okay.
Yeah, that's all been,
Because orange is
Oh, it's already
going.
public.
I know, I mean, it's like, everything we do is public information, so
Right, right,
it's.
She said
yeah,
with
once
a
it's
smile.
been, yeah, it's already been discussed, so, yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay, so we have, we broke down the subcommittees into the following, which is trails, beach access parks, 4th of July, golf, community/evacuation center, fundraising, and then arts and ecotourism.
Can you help me with 4th of July?
Yes.
What are we talking about there?
So essentially, that would just be a committee that obviously it's a little too late to do anything this year,
Okay.
considering it's next week.
Okay, good.
But it's going to be kind of planning for next year and seeing the different things that we could do potentially to minimize fire risk here in the Cove.
But it is for next year.
Correct. So we're not even thinking about anything
There
this year.
talk about a red birthday party that I'm slightly confusing with this year and the 4th of July?
that was brought up at one point, but there hasn't been really any movement on it. And I'm not sure at this point, with staffing, I think everybody has a pretty full plate for this year, is what is my,
What was it? What was it? Was it 50, 60? What was the
60,
celebration? 60?
and so, yeah, we were wanting to break down into subcommittees so that people have a partner to gather information and work with. So it's not just coming from one person. And it just makes it kind of funner to gather that information.
So do we just?
Well, I mean, also, so the goal of being in these subcommittees is essentially to do research and development for all of these different, areas. And then we can work on the strategic plan. That's basically breaking down the strategic plan. So in the strategic plan, those things would then fall under these categories. We do research and development, and then after that's done, then we can pitch it to the board.
So do we express interest in which of these?
Correct.
Yes, and we can have up to, Jessica, correct me if I'm not, we can have up to three people.
Okay. Yep. So up to 3 people.
So I mean, I'm interested in trails, beach access parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am too, so I will definitely get on that one. And
I do
Tasha.
have a question.
Mhm.
What does community evacuation center? What is
So
that
that's
entail?
that's essentially, that's a great question. And that's what we need some research and development on. Like, do we fix up what we currently have? Do
This
we?
is referring to the community
Correct.
center.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
But we're trying to also call it an evacuation center.
Okay. Well, I'm interested.
Why
in
does that? What
one, too.
angle does that help us with?
So if we call it an evacuation center too, then number one, it needs to be called that because that is where we evacuate
It's one
in
of
case
our
of a fire.
evacuation.
We come up here for tsunami, down there for fire. And Nick expressed that we need to start doing that too, just for funding purposes and things like that. Because if we keep saying it's also an evacuation center, then that can open up a few more doors.
I'd like to be on that committee too.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And I would as well.
You would like to be on that one? Okay, just one moment.
Colleen.
I would like to do the beach and trails as well.
Yeah, I already got you down for that.
Okay, so
So
we
then
have
we're
3
gonna
on
do
that one.
Colleen. I will also join community center, and we can have one more.
We got Wendy says she wants to
Wendy,
do that.
You want to do that too, right?
I do.
Okay.
Are you on that one, or I can do it? I'm not.
I'm good.
Okay.
So golf and community center have smiley faces for me.
I will put you down for golf.
Okay, I'm hoping you get Wendy. I'm hoping you'll have a partner on this. Also,
I
with
have a question about the second RID member who's been consistently absent.
yeah, that'll
don't
be
do that.
discussed at the next meeting.
At the next hour meeting?
Yeah. Right now, this is It's
I'm
not.
not counting, I'm just noticing.
I will talk to you after that.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, so we can't discuss that. But what I would like to say with the golf course is it's not going to be just golf that you're looking in that area in RID property to see how to bring in more revenue besides golf. It would also be considering like a multi-course.
Disc golf.
Yes, that kind of a thing. Or yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So is there anyone? Are you not to overextend you, Pauline? Are you interested in any of that type of that area down there, in that region, more like trying to help us identify besides golf,
Yeah, sure.
what we could do, like,
I think disc golf would be great because I think we have people here that are already doing
Yeah.
that.
They are, oh.
and there's also like,
Just started working out of nowhere. Yeah, disc golf. Yeah. Representing.
can we mark you down as maybe, or would you rather not?
I'll try it.
Okay.
I will definitely try it. I mean,
So then we have at least 2 people looking at that.
okay, golf plus.
We'll call it Golf Plus. We'll
All
just
right.
call it the Runway Golf Course area.
Okay, so I've got 3 now.
Yes, I
Okay.
think you're pretty good.
So, and then Simi, I thought maybe you would want to do arts and ecotourism with me.
Sure, and I'll do fundraising too.
And you want to do fundraising too? Okay, awesome.
I'm down for the arts.
You want to do the arts too?
Yeah, I can
Okay,
do
cool.
4th of July as well.
I'll jump in
Awesome.
fundraising with Simi, and that's my 3.
Okay,
Tic tac toe. So Wendy, and then Laura's art, and then
so
Okay.
who do we have on the art? We have
Right.
Simi on the arts and ecotourism,
Yep, and on 4th of July.
and then you as well. Okay, so that's,
We're all running into that. I have a 4th of July row that's empty.
I know, we'll get there. Well, and this is the other thing is,
be a tough sell. That is gonna be a tough one.
But we'll
And
be-
if Jerry doesn't want to do it, I can step in on that too. That's fine.
okay, so right now for the 4th of July, who do we have?
Simi.
Simi? Okay, anyone else?
Jessica, you want to volunteer?
No.
I was gonna say though that, I mean, maybe it's partially good match for Jerry. I don't wanna volunteer him, but maybe it is because of the possible, FAA.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe.
yep,
Yeah,
we're
I think he'd
volunteering.
be pretty knowledgeable for that.
Basically, if you're not here today, you're getting volunteered.
Tristan is the 4th of July as well. On my screen.
We could add her to that.
I think we should wait.
Wait, okay, so we have 2 people. It's a minimum of 2 people. So
Yeah.
let's do
Max
Jerry and you, if that's for the 4th, okay?
Perfect.
And then if it looks like you guys may want some more people, then we can discuss it and come back to that. Okay, that's a minimum of 2 people.
We could also
Where
put
else are
Jerry
you?
involved too.
So I'm on trails and arts and eco. You could put me on, I guess you could put me on the 4th.
You want to do the 4th?
Sure. Okay,
Okay, cool.
now that, so that, now we,
Yes, darling.
I've got
To you. Am I missing one?
have
Trails,
Mm-hmm.
community center, arts and ecotourism.
You mean
the evacuation center?
exactly. Thank you for correcting me this lady.
Leave it to a fellow ball to do it.
Teaching moments.
And then do we want to put Jerry maybe on golf as well? So that's 3.
Because it might include the runway,
That's
and
what I
I'm
was
thinking a
thinking.
sweet welcome to Shelter Cove sign needs to happen down there. Let's
Yeah.
put Jerry.
we do have an action item coming up at discussing the airport. So
right.
maybe
Good
we'll leave him off of there for now. Let's just keep it. Oh, you're talking about for the goal?
Yeah, just having him
Okay,
on as
yeah.
part of the subcommittee.
All right, that
You know?
sounds good. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's what happens when you're not here. You get volunteered for everything, huh, Jack? Okay, so
Voluntold.
I like that.
Oh,
I'm
like that.
So the only thing that we have nothing for is the fundraising committee. Do we have any takers?
Oh no, we have Simi and Wendy.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, I missed you
They
guys.
already did it.
Okay. Okay, so just let us know if you want anybody, if you need anybody else, and if you have, yeah, what kind of help you guys might need.
No, we should be okay. We'll be okay with 2.
We might grab the scarf member coming in if
Yes,
the timing works.
Exactly.
Well, and essentially how this will work is you guys will get, I don't want to speak for you, Jessica, a little packet probably of some sort for each of these subcommittees that are divided. And then after that, then every meeting we'll call on these subcommittees to give us an update or a report on what you're working on. So that's how we're kind of thinking it'll work. And then you will have a deadline for you to submit it to us so then we can review it before the meeting so everyone can see everybody's notes and what they're working on. And then if we have any questions, we can address it at the next meeting. And so that I follow the rules. 3 of us are allowed to meet at
Yes.
any given time of day
Yes.
and public, or 3 only?
Well, it's you three, and you can do it with public, but I would recommend initially like getting your core group together and doing some research prior to doing that public outreach.
And we can be
In the public, having a group of 3 meeting?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
Yeah.
break that rule if I don't know.
No, I appreciate you wanting clarification on that. And then just with the communications, with the rest of the board or the rest of the committee, I'm sorry, just BBC. Like if you have to get information and you also put, do not respond to this. Yeah. Oh, what did I say? Did I say it?
Great
Oh.
broadcast.
Oh, yeah. No,
Great
don't
network.
go
Blind
to the
copy.
British
blind copy
Yes.
communications.
Yeah.
So it's BCC. And then, of course, always utilize Chris and Jessica.
I probably be brutal.
Because that's where I'm going to get in trouble.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, great. So we'll let you guys know when the packets are ready, and then when the deadline is to submit whatever. And it could just be what you're working on, what your plans are, deadlines of what you want to do when, however you want to organize your time and what is on the strategic plan.
And what I would add is, in this packet is what I'm hoping to have in there for you is like the maps of district properties within your, exactly. Okay, any public comment?
Any public comment on the subcommittee? No?
You were up there for a second, we missed you.
Oh, I was just gonna give a little heads up on as far as you were talking about. And so.
Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
I'll come on up, so it's official.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was Pauline and just asking, I was just gonna say, one, it's always been part of the evacuation center. That's always been part of the master plan in case of emergency. Down there is where we've already advised everybody every time we have for wildfire, that's where we're gonna be sending anybody. The only exception is in the event of a tsunami. Obviously, it's everybody coming up here. But that's always been in the plan. That's why everything's in there. And it does additionally open you up for additional funding, whether FEMA funding or any other kind of grants, having that in. It does come with it some more requirements as well, as far as like having shower facility, that kind of thing. But it's not like that has to be extensive. You know, having a shower in the men's and women's.
Facility down there?
There is downstairs. There is downstairs.
Okay.
It can be used, but that was never designed as a community center, evacuation center. So in designing that,
Okay.
that's something that will need to be thought of is what's required for evacuation center.
Okay.
What do we do if there's a wildfire or a tsunami during a wildfire?
Party in my house. Halfway. Way up, halfway down. Oh, that's awesome. Evacuation center.
I just want to say thank you guys for volunteering for all of this. And I know it's a lot, but really appreciate it.
We want to get stuff done.
Let's get it done.
Mhm. All right. So subcommittees are done. This is exciting. So next thing is consider recommendation to.
You're gonna have a motion?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Do we have to say all
Is
of
it
that?
for each one,
I
or is it?
think I would go through the long motion.
Mhm.
I would recommend that
To approve.
approve subcommittees as discussed.
Mhm. There you go. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve subcommittees as discussed.
I second.
Roll call.
Laura Ball,
Aye.
Betty Ball,
Aye.
Pauline York,
Aye.
Stevie Rogers,
Aye.
Kristen Sanders, absent. Kristen Sheik,
Aye.
Jeremiah Jackson, absent.
All right, motion passes. All right, so the next thing is, after the last meeting, we're going to consider a recommendation to remove airport from Parks and Recreation and into an administrative department. Because we need kind of a transportation division of RID, which should, the airport should fall under, not Parks and Rec. we don't think it really makes a lot of sense under us because it's really not. So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, that's work now. Yeah, so like Nick had brought up at the last meeting, that really the airport is subject to its own regulations. And in all honesty, I think Jerry and Nick are working on some of the items that were discussed of wanting to get upgrades down there. And so really that's more, it's not really a Parks and Rec thing. So just wanting to see about taking that, removing that from our plate and putting it off to just the district's admin side, and they can, you know, they're already working.
To move that from Parks and Recs to administration.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So, but okay, public comment?
No? All right.
Go ahead.
I make that motion.
Great.
All second.
Okay, roll call.
Kristen Sanders, absent. Tesha Bushin,
Aye.
Laura Ball,
Aye.
Gary Jackson, absent. Amy Rajman,
Aye.
Wendy Ball,
Aye.
Pauline York.
Aye.
May I ask a question before we leave the topic of the runway?
Absolutely.
Were there decisions that were made based on those stickers that were presented last week? Where are we at on that? Is that moving forward? So there are, and that was an annual,
Yep,
me
that
what
was
those
the
were, the
yearly,
annual
Mhm.
parking stickers.
Available to any pilot who wants to purchase it. It will cover 1 year for $100. They're being shipped currently. I'm not sure the arrival date, but they will be available for purchase soon. And I did add that on the envelope as well, so that you had the pilot that flies in. It wasn't what was discussed, but I thought it was.
That's a great
I
idea.
just added a little line on there that says that. Probably on if you're interested.
That's perfect.
Rad.
So,
So
Jessica.
look at what we did for the airport in the
Right?
6 months that we had the airport.
I know.
I know.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah.
Not to mention that sweet landing stuff that he is talking to Nick about. That's exceptional, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the next
Okay,
meeting
so-
will be, instead of the town hall, we'll be meeting.
At 10 a.m. on July 4th, 24th. 24th, 24.
Okay, everybody
Yep.
sounds good?
Yes. Yep. All right. Meeting is adjourned at 10:56.
Whoa.
Yeah, look at us go.
I think that might be,
Under,
I can do that.
right? I'm like, is this a part of